The world changed forever on a very dark day in early March. Businesses closed their heavy doors and the streets became very quiet indeed. Millions of people lost their steady jobs in just a few weeks. Most families were not ready for such a massive financial shock today. The stock market fell faster than anyone could have ever predicted then. People watched their retirement savings vanish in the blink of an eye. Fear was the main emotion that drove every single major financial decision. However, some families stayed very cool and followed a very strict plan. They did not just survive, but they actually found ways to thrive. These people used simple habits that kept their bank accounts very safe. We are going to look at the secrets of these very smart families. You might think they were just lucky or had a lot of money. That is not the case for the majority of these successful people. They simply had a different way of looking at their monthly spending. They understood that a crisis is always coming at some point soon. These families built a wall of protection around their homes and their lives. The first habit was the creation of a very large emergency fund. Most people only save a little bit of money for a rainy day. The successful families saved enough to last for 6 full months or more. This cash was not for investing or for buying a new car. It was only for keeping the lights on and the food on the table. Having this cash allowed them to sleep very well during the lockdowns. They did not have to worry about the next rent check coming due. This habit is the foundation of all true financial freedom and peace. Imagine not being afraid when the news tells you the economy is failing. That is the power of having a pile of cash in the bank. Many people spent their stimulus checks on things they did not really need. The smart families used that extra money to bridge any existing gaps. They looked at every dollar as a soldier that could protect their future. The second habit was the total elimination of all high-interest debt. Credit cards are a heavy chain that pulls you down during a crisis. Families who survived the crash had already cut up their plastic cards. They did not owe any money to the big banks for their lifestyle. This meant their monthly expenses were much lower than their neighbors' expenses. When your bills are low, you do not need a huge income. This simple math is why they stayed afloat while others were sinking fast. They focused on paying off the smallest debts first to gain some momentum. This method is often called the debt snowball by many famous experts. It works because it gives you a quick win and keeps you motivated. You start to feel like you're finally winning the money game. The third habit was the practice of very extreme and careful frugality. These families knew exactly where every single penny was going each month. They used simple notebooks or basic apps to track their daily spending. They stopped buying expensive coffee and started making it at home instead. They realized that small leaks can sink a big ship over time. By cutting out the waste, they found hidden money in their budget. This extra money was used to buy assets when prices were very low. They bought stocks while everyone else was selling them in a huge panic. This allowed them to grow their wealth while the world was stopping. It takes a lot of courage to buy when everyone else is afraid. But that is exactly how the wealthy people make their biggest gains. They see a market crash as a massive clearance sale on great companies. You must learn to see the world through this lens of opportunity. The fourth habit was the development of multiple different streams of income. Relying on just one paycheck is a very dangerous way to live. The smart families had small side jobs or digital businesses on the side. Some sold items online while others taught skills through a webcam. When the main job disappeared, the side income kept the family going. They did not put all of their eggs in just one basket. This diversification is the key to surviving any kind of economic storm. You should start a small project today that can earn you extra cash. It does not have to be a big company to be very effective. Even an extra $100 a week can make a huge difference. This money acts as a safety net for your primary source of pay. The fifth habit was the constant focus on learning new valuable skills. The world changed, and the old way of working was gone forever. Successful people used the lockdowns to read books and take online courses. They learned about digital marketing or how to code a simple website. They made themselves more valuable to the marketplace during their free time. This ensured they could find a new job if they ever needed one. Your mind is the best asset you will ever own in your life. Never stop investing in your own knowledge and your own personal growth. The sixth habit was the practice of talking openly about money together. Many families avoid the topic of money because it causes a lot of stress, but the survivors had weekly meetings to discuss their goals and progress. They worked as a team to cut costs and save more money. This unity made them stronger and helped them avoid many common mistakes. Children learned the value of a dollar by watching their parents work. This created a legacy of financial wisdom for the next generation too. You must be honest with your partner about your financial situation now. Working together is much easier than trying to do it all alone. The seventh habit was maintaining a very long-term perspective on life. They knew that the lockdown would eventually come to an end one day. They did not make permanent decisions based on a temporary global problem. They stayed invested in the market and did not sell their shares. They knew that the economy would eventually recover and reach new highs. This patience is what separates the winners from the losers in finance. You have to look past the scary headlines on the television screen. The news is designed to make you feel anxious and very afraid. Your job is to stay focused on your own personal financial goals. The eighth habit was the avoidance of any new large financial risks. They did not buy a new house or a fancy car then. They waited for the dust to settle before making any big moves. This caution saved them from being stuck with a very large loan. Many people made the mistake of buying things they could not afford. They thought the easy money from the government would last forever, but the smart families knew that the party would eventually have to stop. They prepared for the return of high inflation and higher interest rates. This foresight allowed them to pivot before the rest of the world. You must always think 2 or 3 steps ahead of the crowd. The ninth habit was the cultivation of a very strong local community. They traded services with their neighbors to save money on daily tasks. One person would mow the grass while another would fix a car. This barter system reduced the need for cash during the hardest months. It also built strong bonds that helped everyone feel much less alone. We are social creatures, and we need each other to survive well. Building a network of friends is a great financial strategy as well. The 10th habit was the practice of gratitude for what they had. They focused on their health and their family instead of their losses. This positive mindset kept them from falling into a deep, dark hole. They realized that money is just a tool to serve their life. It is not the most important thing in the whole wide world, but having enough of it makes life much easier for everyone involved. You should be thankful for the lessons that the crash taught you. It showed us what truly matters when everything else is stripped away. It taught us how to be resilient and how to be resourceful. These habits are not just for a pandemic or a market crash. They are the rules for living a successful and very stable life. You can start implementing these habits in your own home right now. Start by saving your first $1,000 in a separate bank account, then look at your debts and make a plan to pay them. Stop spending money on things that do not bring you real value. Spend your time learning a skill that people will pay you for. Talk to your family about your dreams and your financial fears too. If you do these things, you will be ready for anything. The next crisis will not catch you off guard or leave you broke. You will be the person who stays calm while others are panicking. You will be the one who sees the opportunity in the chaos. This is how you build a life that is truly bulletproof. The most valuable lesson from this entire experience is very simple today. Financial peace does not come from how much money you earn daily. It comes from how much money you keep and how you behave. Your habits will determine your future more than the stock market will. Be the master of your money instead of being its humble slave. The world is uncertain, but your financial plan can be very solid.